Instagram models versus real models. Who's making more money? Who has more respect? And who is more talented? Stay tuned to find out. What's up, guys? It's your girl NT here, and that stands for Natalia Taylor. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon if you want to get that notification every time I post. I upload a new video every single Monday and occasionally on Fridays if I feel like it. Today, we will be discussing the differences between Instagram models and real models. And before you get angry at me, I don't really like to say real models because technically we're all real, we're all doing things with our life, but I'm referring to the original form of modeling, that is industry modeling. Fashion show catwalks and campaign photo shoots, an art form that has been going on for generations. Before we really dive in deep, I want to make sure I clearly communicate my motives for this video. So I don't want anyone assuming that I'm trying to be a shady ass bitch in this video. Do you see a teacup here? No. This video is simply to compare and contrast the differences between these two modeling genres of our current time. As you all know, Instagram modeling is a fairly new thing that's happening right now, but I don't want y'all to think that I don't have some animosity or some tea towards the real modeling industry because, girl, I'm not in it anymore, so don't go thinking I'm biased. But all of that aside, everyone seems to have their own opinion on who's more credible and who's more talented. And also, something that I've noticed, a lot of people don't really know the difference. They think that modeling is sort of one big thing and that everyone that claims to be a model is doing the same thing, which is not true. So a lot of this video will be me explaining the differences between the two for the people out there that don't know. Also, I have a fair amount of people that are aspiring models watching my channel, and maybe after this video it can help lead you in the direction that's right for you. So without any further ado, let's get right into Instagram models versus real models. In order to give you guys a good perspective, I've devised a measurement system. We will be ranking Instagram models and industry models on these 7 categories: difficulty, talent, money, fame, respect, longevity, and fun. For each category, we will be ranking both sides on a scale of 1 to 10. And at the end of the video, we will add it all up to see who really has it better. And as we go through each category, obviously some of these are based on perspective. So if you have a different opinion than mine, feel free to let me know down in the comments. So the first classification that we have is difficulty. How difficult really is it to become an Instagram model? For starters, anyone can make an Instagram account. And that's not even me being shady. That's me stating a fact. Anyone that makes an Instagram account has potential to be an Instagram model. Now, obviously, over a period of time, however long that is, you will acquire certain skills that are more admirable. Skills such as engagement, which is how well do you interact with the people that follow your account. Another skill being Instagram aesthetic. Do you take time to properly plan your photos on your Instagram? Do you take the time to make them look nice? And also, you have to learn how to market yourself as an individual or a brand, which is difficult to do. Whether it's networking and interacting with other influencers on Instagram or getting featured on other pages that are similar to what you're promoting. So, although yes, anyone can make an Instagram account and have the potential to become an influencer, it doesn't mean a certain skill set isn't required. But these are skills that can be learned over time if you're willing. So I wouldn't necessarily call it talent. We'll get to that. But Instagram models definitely have a drive to succeed and to learn more about a network that is constantly changing. But a lot of the time, especially with Instagram, there are people out here that put in the effort and the time and the work that simply aren't getting anything in return. And it's unfortunate. And a lot of it is based on chance, even if you're exceptionally good at it, which is why Instagram modeling earns an extra couple difficulty points. So overall, we will give Instagram models a ranking of 7 out of 10 difficulty. For most people, it could be achievable, but you really have to care a lot about it and acquire a certain skill set. Now for the industry models. How difficult is it really to become a fashion model? For years and years, obviously, in order to become an industry model, it does have a certain amount of requirements based on your appearance. More so than Instagram modeling, in my opinion, because overall social media is far more accepting of all body types and all looks, but the fashion industry isn't so nice. So in order to become an industry model, you not only have to be tall, thin, and have a certain type of facial structure, you also have to require a skill set too. Now, obviously, we do live in a time where the modeling industry is the most accepting that it's ever been in the entire history of fashion, but it's still not that great. They still put so much emphasis on being pretty, tall, and thin, and that eliminates a lot of people right off the bat. But even then, if you meet the physical requirements, there are other things that are expected from you as well. You have to be relaxed and comfortable in front of a camera. You can't really be shy. You have to know how to walk correctly. You have to know how to walk with other people correctly. You have to know how to pose. There are so many different things that actually go into the requirements once you've already passed the test of looking good. And obviously, Instagram models also have to be comfortable in front of a camera and know how to pose, but they do it in the comfort of their own time around people that they probably know. Whereas traditional modeling, that's usually not the case. And even then, once you've passed the physical requirements and got the necessary skill set, it's still a game of chance. So because traditional modeling has so many more layers that you need to pass through, and most of us are automatically eliminated as soon as we're born, we're giving them a 9 out of 10 difficulty. Moving on to talent. Now, obviously, we all have our own opinions on what talent really is, and I don't want this to get messy, but here's the get down. I really don't think you need that much talent to do either of these things. Although some people that are doing these things are talented, if that makes sense. Let's start with Instagram. In this category, I'm not referring to people that are noticed on Instagram because of their talent. I'm referring to people that are just noticed on Instagram as themselves. I do think in order to plan your photos in advance and know where to take your photos so that it matches your aesthetic and edit your photos, that requires some form of talent, but really not much. These are all things that are learned over time. Anyone could do it, and I'm not discrediting it. These are things that do take time and effort, but I wouldn't call it talent. So for me, the Instagram models get a 4 out of 10 on the talent scale. Now for the industry models. Once again, I feel like there are certain things that you need to learn over time and perfect in order to be a good model. But because traditional modeling relies so heavily on looks and body type and appearance, even more than the Instagram modeling, I feel like to an extent it requires even less. I guess we could say that being confident and competitive could be considered a talent, but if that were the case, then I would give it to both sides. Through my own personal experience with doing industry modeling, a lot of the stuff you are required to do, once again, is something most people can do. And it's not a bad thing. Like, I'm just being real with you right now and letting you know that most regular models don't really have that much talent, and that's fine. It doesn't mean that they don't have skill. So for the real models, I'm gonna have to give them a 3 out of 10 on the talent scale. Moving on to money. This one for me was more difficult to really put a finger on because there are so many different levels of Instagram influencers and levels of models where everyone's making a different amount. The last thing I wanted to do was research the net worth of certain individuals on both sides because some people have been doing it longer, some people have more followers. Like, it's very hard to balance that. So I just did a little bit of Google research. And also, I didn't really want to base this category on my personal experiences. So I looked up how much does an Instagram model make? And I was given this bit of information. A typical Instagram model who has 100,000 followers can earn $5,000 for a post made in partnership with a company or brand. Obviously, that can vary depending on the interaction on your account and which brand you're working with, but from personal experience, I can say that's not too far off. I also did some extensive research on some Instagram models that I follow to see how frequently they're doing brand deals on their account. Some of them did a lot, whereas others did very little, but overall it seemed the average was twice a month. So let's just do this math really quick. $5,000 twice a month, that's $10,000. $10,000 times 12 for the entire year, that's $120,000 in salary working as an Instagram model, and that's not even big. I mean, we're talking about someone with around 100,000 followers on their account, not the people that have millions. Obviously, this pricing is different for everyone and it's not very consistent, but let's just assume that it is. If we're sticking to that that math, that for every 100,000 followers you have, you get 5 grand for a post, that means if you have 1 million followers, you get paid 50 grand for a post. And if we're doing that damn thing twice a month, I mean, add it up. $1,200,000. Let's just say, when it comes to money, Instagram modeling is the way to go. 10 out of 10. For the fashion model salary, I also resorted to Google, where they informed me high fashion models usually earn by the hour. They made average annual incomes of $65,000 as of 2013, according to the job website Simply Hired. This equates to $31.25 per hour based on a 40-hour work week. It's not very promising for our industry models out here trying to get that coin. Although that was dated all the way back to 2013, I can vouch to say it's correct. When it comes to money, the real models get 5 out of 10. Now moving on to fame. Another thing that could be interpreted many different ways, because there are many things that could make you famous. So for this one, it was a little more difficult to research which one makes you more famous, but I think it's obvious. Off the top of your head right now, I want you to name 5 Instagram influencers that you follow. Okay, 7 out of 10. Now name 5 fashion models off the top of your head. My point exactly. Okay, 3 out of 10. The next category is respect. Now, this is another tricky one because I feel like both sides equally get disrespected, but from different people. Instagram models oftentimes get disrespected, believe it or not, by people in the actual industry. Like, models. Fashion models hate Instagram models for no reason. I think it's because with the rise of Instagram and social media, all of these models and influencers are all of a sudden taking spots that were formerly filled by regular industry models. And now they're worried about their job security. Because once upon a time, it used to be a certain way where you couldn't get on a cover of a magazine if you weren't a fashion model. But now with the rise of these social media stars, these other people over here are getting kind of threatened. So no, I don't think Instagram models get very much respect because they are rising in this new wave of an industry and it's competing with the old wave and it's just kind of clashing and not working very well, so they're not taken as seriously, which is unfortunate and we all wish it was different, but because of that, Instagram models get a 5 out of 10 for respect. Fashion models, on the other hand, are almost carrying on a tradition that's been going on for years. Everyone knows what it is, and so they have a sort of respect for it, versus something that's completely new and different that not everyone knows about. Speaking from personal experience, sometimes I have people come up to me and ask me, "What do you do for a living?" And when I reply, "I'm a social media influencer," they give me this look. Versus if I reply, "I'm a model," "Oh my gosh, no way!" There is no denying that being a traditional fashion model does hold a higher esteem. Not that they still don't get disrespected by other people that they work with in the industry, but that's not what I'm referring to. Overall, people are more likely to respect the real models. So because of that, they get a 7 out of 10 on the respect scale. Now let's talk about longevity. This is a really difficult one because once again, social media is a very new thing. No one really knows how long you can really do it. I will say though, because social media is this thing that's constantly changing and you have to change with it, social media models are very in tune with that. They are constantly having to change their content to keep up with what's relevant. So because of that, I would have to say the longevity of being an Instagram model is probably more promising than a traditional model, just because they're always having to adapt and their audience grows with them as they get older. So we'll give the Instagram models a 7 out of 10 for longevity. Now for regular models, it's not so promising. The regular shelf life for the average female fashion model is around age 25. That's usually when things start to slow down, unfortunately, because the fashion industry is all about the youth. Hence why you don't see Tyra Banks in the Victoria's Secret fashion shows anymore. She moved to television because her shelf life was up. It's fucked up. It's sad, but can we do anything about it? No. Of course, there are always a few exceptions, but unless you really wanted to continue your modeling career as you got older, I mean, you could do like a family JCPenney catalog, but that's about it. So for the real models, they get a 4 out of 10 longevity. Last but not least, we have moved on to category number 7. fun. Which one would you actually enjoy more? Let's start with Instagram models. Okay, so obviously, just like anything, it's gonna come with its pressures and its stresses. Making sure you're uploading on a consistent schedule, making sure your photos are high resolution, checking your analytics here and there to see what you could be doing better, always coming up with different places to take pictures. But something we don't really think about, it's also extremely stressful to be in the public eye so directly, receiving hate comments and critique and all of this controversy that comes with the internet. That can be very stressful, but I think we can all agree, shit ain't that bad for traveling the world every day and getting paid that much money to do it. You guys know what I'm talking about. You get on your Instagram and you see all of these girls, and every single day they're in a different country. They're always living their best life, but not to say that they don't have their own personal issues, you know, loneliness can come with things like that, but generally, it's a blessing to be able to do that for a living, you know? They basically work from their phone, like this is their office. Especially once you get where you really want to be and you're just enjoying yourself, living your life. I mean, Instagram modeling is the dream. So when it comes to having fun and truly enjoying what you're doing, Instagram modeling gets a 9 out of 10. But for the other girls, you know what I'm gonna say. Sometimes as a real model, you do get to travel, but it's usually not for fun. It's either for a show, a fitting, a booking, a photo shoot, and you never really get the chance to have that much fun. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of models that think it's fun what they're doing and they really do enjoy their craft, but I think I would much rather be in the Bahamas for free on someone else's dollar taking selfies in the ocean with a dolphin than on a photo shoot set. So when it comes to having fun with what you're doing and truly enjoying yourself, unfortunately, the real models got the shit end of the stick. 5 out of 10. All of these categories could be ranked differently depending on the individual, but this is all just my perspective. I hope this video clears some things up for you if you had any questions on the difference between the two. They are two very different things that both have positives and negatives. I think we're all very blessed to exist in a time that's so dynamic, where we have so many choices. In this video, I didn't want to be shady and give any personal opinions on which one I think is better, but I mean, I left the industry for social media. That speaks for itself. But I think no matter what your dreams are, what you're doing, or what you're pursuing, you can do it. I'm really happy that I can make this video and give a third-person perspective on both sides. And I'm really glad that I've had experiences with both. But let me know down in the comments, would you rather be an Instagram model or a real model? And I keep putting real in quotations because I don't want to imply that Instagram models are fake. We're all real. We're all doing this shit. We're all making decisions and making money and living our life. So no matter which path you choose, just make sure it's right for you. If you guys ever have any questions about the modeling industry or social media, feel free to DM me on Instagram or leave a suggestion down in the comments and I can make a video on the topic you suggest. But I really appreciate you guys tuning in for Instagram models versus real models. I hope you enjoyed. Did you learn anything that you didn't know before? Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon and like this video if you want to see more of this modeling series on my channel. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much, and I thoroughly hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day. God bless.